Joining us now in Studio B, the head coach of BYU baseball. It is the first home game day for the Batcats, Mike Littlewood. Coach, great to have you back in studio.
Oh, I'd rather be nowhere else than with you guys.
I'm having
awesome.
a funny flashback. I don't know if you remember this, but early on in the show's history, we broke that microphone right before you were supposed to come on and do an interview. And we had one of our production assistants holding the microphone up for you. Yeah. It's shaking so bad. And you had to stay focused and do your thing.
I was focused. Not like today where I'm like, what is this? Like, this is not a batting. And then what is this?
The cross glove, and those are grips from gymnastics.
This looks like something Tuckett Slade, our director of operations, would wear when he lifts. This is him. He puts these on, and nobody knows why.
Oh, he's going to love this interview.
He's like, where are my wristbands?
Tuckett Slade, the bear hunter.
So, anyway, as far as staying focused.
That's really funny.
So, now, you have started the year at scenic locations such as California, Hawaii, and Alabama. Will you rank those in order of the greatest vacation destinations?
Well, Hawaii would be number one, but it's funny. And Cal State Northridge, interestingly enough, we're taking batting practice the very first day, and we see three helicopters, police helicopters, going around campus, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, it's on lockdown. Campus is on lockdown. There's some guy driving a golf cart with a gun. So it ended up being a prank, but they shut down. We kept throwing BP. I was throwing BP, and Tuckett came up and was like,
talk about not getting distracted.
Yeah.
We got work to do.
I would throw that last. And I'd like to forget the Auburn trip just because we got boat raced that one game. Played pretty well the other two, but tough 3 weeks for us. I like where our team is. We're playing well, but tough 3 weeks of travel.
Depending on which ranking you look at, Auburn is anywhere from now number 14 to number 20. They were 18th when you played them in the poll that BYU recognizes. What did you learn in that series about your team? Having to go on the road and play against a team that hadn't lost a baseball game and still hasn't lost.
Yeah, still they came from behind and beat UAB last night. But I mean, they're a really good team, and they're playing really well right now. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder early in the season. They're playing like Cal State Fullerton and Stanford played in the regionals last year against us. They'll kind of mellow out a little bit and settle in, but right now they can't be beat. They're just 1 through 9. They're strong lineup-wise, and the 3 pitchers we saw, 2 of them will be in the big leagues, no doubt. Casey Mize could be in the big leagues in September this year. He's legit. He's 94, 97, throws 3 pitches for strikes, sometimes 4. And I was just keeping my fingers crossed we could put a ball in play that game. And Brennan Anderson finally did in the 5th. But we lost 4-3. I was proud of our guys. We chased him in the 5th. He got a little bit tired. And I was proud of our hitters just persevering, not getting too – I mean, it's easy at this level to get discouraged, put your tail between your legs and run away. But we didn't. We kept fighting, kept coming back, and need some better pitching performances. But we'll get it. We'll be there.
Speaking of the pitching, this team has a lot of young, talented players to mix in with the vets that are back, and a lot of that is in the pitching. How do you think that the young guys specifically have handled the workload so far?
Well, I guess the bright spot for us has been Drew Zimmerman. If you're talking young guys, I mean, he's been a guy we put in there, Auburn twice, and he came in and did a great job. He's been sitting around 9. He's from Lehigh High School, played short and pitched in high school, and his velocity was upper 80s, and his arm was sore once in a while. And now that he's just a pitcher, I mean, he goes out there and just competes his tail off and throws a little cutter at 83, 84, and which is a pretty tough pitch to hit. He's just a competitor, so I really like that. But we've got other guys who are more depth this year. Mm-hmm. I guess on the disappointing side, we've got a couple guys that Kendall Moats and Bo Burrup need to step it up just a little bit. And if hitters can have slump, I think pitchers can have slumps as well. But we need Bo to step up, and we need Kenny Sines to step up, and our guys that we're counting on, we need those guys to be guys for us this year.
No question you ramped up the challenge early in the season and in non-conference play. You have some one-offs with some really good teams coming up later in the season too, notably Stanford and Cal and Arizona. So you're going to test yourself against some of the best in the Pac-12. It's always a kind of it's a delicate process as you try and create a schedule because you want to challenge yourselves, but you don't want to overwhelm your team and make them lose their confidence. How do you balance that? Because you have to do all the scheduling.
Yeah, Coach Pratt does our scheduling, and we kind of work on that together. He'll bring me different, and you can't schedule yourself out of a job. I mean, for me, I would love to go play LSU and Auburn and Florida State back to back to back. I would love that as just for the experience of the team. But you don't want to come out of that, 1-7 and then lose all confidence in yourself. So there's a fine line there. There's also a fine line of trying to build an RPI and win some games and also play competitive teams. So scheduling is not as easy as, hey, you want to play this day? You have to put some stuff, you have to put some thought into it. And I think Trent does an incredible job putting our schedule together. And, hopefully with this field, we can maybe even play last week. We want to play maybe. Definitely we're at a disadvantage. I'm not saying like regionally or whatever. To get to a regional, we're at a disadvantage. That's an excuse. But playing the first 3 or 4 weeks on the road, it's a tough thing to do. I mean, we were gone 10 days, and I thought we did a great job. We beat Northridge, who I don't think they've lost since. Maybe they've lost one game since we played them. They've got a good record, good team. We beat them 3 out of 4 on their home field. And they go to Hawaii, which is tough. I think I remember beating Hawaii one time when I was at BYU.
Wow.
And that was in the WAC championships my senior year. We may have beat them, but I just don't remember. They're a tough place to win. And we split there. So I like how our team's playing, and I think we're regrouped now and ready to go tonight.
You've got Nebraska, Omaha tonight. We'll get into that in just a second. But hypothetically speaking, if you're filling out the lineup card for tonight, where would you put Spencer and I in the lineup?
Don't do this, Jason.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, you might make it onto the bottom of the lineup card. I've seen you swing. We'd probably try to get you an emergency lesson with Coach Pratt, a hitting lesson, teach you how to bunt. But you'd be near the bottom, to be honest with you.
At least he's being honest. I don't need any false sense of security.
Yeah.
Yes.
I pointed this out on the radio earlier with Matt Townsend before we went on the on-air live here. I was the #1 pick in the Clinton City Little League Baseball draft as a 6th grader, Mike. Okay?
Really? Now, was that a blind draw, or was that picking out of a hat?
No.
You were legit?
You go out, you throw, you run, you hit for the coaches, and they draft you.
Well, I haven't seen you take BP, so you might be on the alternates, but I know Shep would be down below. Now, if it comes to like bicep curls, he might move it. He might move it a lot. Yeah,
he's got me there.
Thank you.
This 46-mile-an-hour fastball is
curls for days.
Ignore.
Yeah, true.
Peter, and I know you call me the secret weapon. Don't try and deny it on air.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, don't want to show our cards too quick.
No.
Let's take the spotlight off ourselves. This is painful. This is painful. Coach, through 11 games, and I know you're coming off of a sweep, but man, so much about baseball is getting right mentally for the next game. And this is going to be the first significant challenge that your guys have had because, you lost 3 straight. Where do you find them mentally right now?
Well, if you revert back to last season when we lost 3 straight to Gonzaga, which hurt much more than the losses to Auburn did. I mean, just simply because of what was at stake last year at Gonzaga. We win one game, we win it outright, and then we have to regroup before going into the conference tournament. That was difficult. But what I like about our team is they're a mature team. They're a bunch of older guys. They're surrounded by some younger guys and who have filtered in. Mitch McIntyre in center field is going to start in center for us tonight. He's been starting. I feel like we need to run Mitch out there a little bit and let him sink or swim because he's a fantastic outfielder, plays the game hard. But mentally, our team's going to be fine. That's the one thing. And, Ryan Brady might be out for the year with a little bit of an arm issue. He was going to be a starting pitcher. And Riley Gates is out for the year with a shoulder issue, our closer. And so we had to talk yesterday, hey, we need to rally around these guys. They're still part of the team. We can't think, woe is me. We've got 50 games still to play. We need to get after this thing. And so hopefully they'll come up with that mentality and maybe have a little bit of chip on their shoulder just to try to prove something after Auburn last week.
What can you tell us about the Mavericks? And then on top of that, you finally get an opportunity to showcase this unbelievable new field. What's your emotions going into that tonight?
Well, I mean, the field's secondary now. We just need to play as good as the field looks. We'll try to. And if people haven't seen the outfield fence now, it's incredible. I mean, the padding on the outfield fence really finished off the field. Omaha's going to be good. They've played a lot of good teams, and their record I think is 4-7. But we won't see power arms like we did last year. It's a little bit different pitching staff. They'll nibble. They'll try to work on the outside part of the plate. They'll try to expand the plate and try to get you to put balls in play that you don't really want to swing at, that kind of look a little tempting. So they're looking for soft contact. They'll try to bunt guys over from first to second early in the game. They're looking to be aggressive. They don't have a bunch of power guys, but they have a bunch of guys who are going to execute. And so they're a good, solid team. They've been in every single game they played by 2 or 3 runs, and so you've almost got to expect the same thing here. So it's going to be, we have to go play. I mean, there's no college team that you can just walk on the field. In baseball, just because that pitcher's, they'll throw a guy in on Saturday that threw a no-hitter last week.
Wow.
And so they're a good team. You just can't, there's not a team where you just go, oh, well, 3 wins, chalk it up. It doesn't happen in baseball. Your
RPI's at lucky number 7 right now, Coach. So take that for whatever it means.
Yeah, which means 0. So in my mind, 0 means 0 because I haven't even looked at that. So now, after our very last series, wherever we play that last series, that'll matter a little bit. And
then
so,
it matters. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully, if we can keep it in single digits, I'd be a happy person.
All right. Well, we'll give that RPI number on March 8th the same import or value of importance as the West Coast Conference preseason championship.
There we go. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Coach, best of luck tonight. Some BYU Sports Nation karma to you and your boys. Go get it done against the Mavericks.
Thanks, guys.